Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, May 21st, 42nd day of the Omer. We already completed 6 weeks of the Omer, hard to believe. Today is very, very easy. You could go either with the famous Interboro Parkway, Jackie Robinson Parkway, old school, or of course the great of the great first ballot Hall of Famer, uncontested Mariano Rivera, the closer. Just a note that we make all of these sports references. While it's cute, it's a good way for us to remember what day of the Omer that we're up to. But we try to incorporate things that help us perform mitzvahs. Hopefully, this has been a helpful to you to be able to perform this very complicated mitzvah. But the notion of bringing sports together with Torah, I'm reminded of Elliot Pines, because Elliot, for years and years, wrote a little email he would send every week, the Sport Vort, about incorporating sports with the Dvar Torah. And it just occurred to me that now it's been 3 years, exactly 3 years, that we stood under the chuppah together when Mishna and Elliot got married. So Mazel Tov on your anniversary, and Mazel Tov on your growing family. To see Sylvie growing, it's really beautiful. And of course, now Elliot also just completed his MBA from NYU Stern. So, Elliot, thank you for all the nachas that you're giving us, and for these great references as we can help people perform mitzvahs. I have a lot that I want to cover today, so I think this might be a little longer than usual. So please bear with me, because there are a number of things that we need to discuss. We love celebrating good occasions, as I just mentioned with Elliot, and a belated happy birthday yesterday to Michael Saffer. Michael has been very under the radar. He's been serving as Mike Pence's body double when he's needed. It's a very, very important role. But Michael, hope you enjoyed your birthday. Please continue to daven for a refuah shalema for Ivan Sobel, Mordechai ben Elka, Rav Rafal Zev ben Rickel, Gittel Basara, and of course for our latest, please continue to daven for Noah Alice Bat Lilach Esther. For Noah, she should have a full, complete recovery, and please everyone, heed the call and take up a mitzvah, take up a siddur, take up a tehillim, for her sake and for all those who are trying to help those who are not well. Again, we should only have good news and refuah shlema here in our shul. A couple of things that are going on. I'm sure that people saw the news yesterday in New York. Of course, there's a big machlokas between the governor and the mayor of New York City, but that's just politics. That's a whole other thing. Just be thankful we don't live there. But the governor of New York allowed, he gave provisions to have gatherings of 10 people or more, which basically means that you can have a minyan in an outdoor space. So, of course, we've received a number of calls and requests. What does that mean for us? And let me just start by telling you that, speaking to my colleagues in New York, so for instance, in the 5 towns, all the rabbis together in the 5 towns in the South Shore of Long Island have issued a letter yesterday stating that even though that it was now permitted, they are still going to hold off, because even though it's permitted, let's be honest, Jews were not very good at following instructions. And in the community of Baltimore, they also have allowed outdoor minyanim, backyard minyanim, but they gave a very, very strict set of rules and guidelines, much like they have in Israel. And any minyan that's to take place has to actually register with the community to be sanctioned, so to say. So as far as we're here in New Jersey, first of all, we're not in New York. We don't have that. Our governor has not given us that permission yet. He's allowed a lot of other things, but not that yet. So we'll get there. And even when we do get there, we're going to do so in the correct fashion. We're going to do so properly. And we will do so in conjunction with all the other shuls and rabbinic organizations in the area. So we're not going to be rebels and rogue, etc. We're doing this to be careful. We're doing this to save lives. And when we do it, and I understand how painful, trust me, I feel it every single day, how painful it is not to be able to daven with a minyan and to hear Torah and for people to say Kaddish. I understand that. And it's going to be even more complicated because, of course, Shavuos is coming. And, just think about it. Let's say, okay, we could have a minyan of 10 people. So which 10? Who gets to come? What do we do about women's section? These are a lot of things that we have to consider. So Shavuos is coming up. Unless something drastically changes, which I don't think it will, in all likelihood, we will not be in shul for Shavuos. unfortunately. I've already prepared the schedule and the guide, so to say, the Luach for Shavuos that we'll be sending out. We'll be having a Zoom Yizkor service like we did before Pesach. We'll do that on Erev Yom Tov next week on Thursday afternoon, where everybody can gather on Zoom. We don't need a minyan per se for Zoom, so we could do it like we did last time. And we will we'll do what we have to do. This is the new reality. So until we can get back to any semblance of normalcy, we're going to have to still follow the guidelines that we have in front of us. Another thing that I wanted to comment on, and I'm sure many families were kind of like hit over the head with the news yesterday, even though it can't say that it's a surprise, but many of our summer camps, sleepaway camps, have canceled for the season. We heard from the network of Camp Ramah yesterday that they will not be holding camp, and now many other camps followed suit, including my own children, and there was a lot of sadness. Now, I understand that this is you might call it a first world problem, that we have the privilege to pay money to send our kids to go to sleepaway camp. But don't let that take away from the value of Jewish summer camp. And there are many of us who our entire Jewish identity was molded and really formulated during those crucial years in summer camp in a Jewish setting. And it's a big loss for our kids. It's a big loss for the parents because now we have to figure out what to do with them. And maybe when we were looking forward to a break, that's just not going to happen. But I think that you should take it seriously, the level of how upset your kids are, and parents too. And just realize this is just yet another victim, so to say, of this pandemic. And I look forward to a time when things can get back to normal and our kids can enjoy a camp setting and the ruach and the friendship and the lifelong memories that are built in summer camp. And I'm very, very sad for them, as I am for my own kids, but for all the kids, and I really feel bad. So I hope that this is something that we will get through as well. So on to our Dvar Torah, our sponsor today. By the way, I want to thank everybody for sponsoring. The biggest problem that I have is that when people say, well, I want to sponsor, I say, what? It's $180 to sponsor a video. I want to line up. I'm booked through the first week of June. That's great news, and it's so great for how the community is stepping up and showing ways that they can support our shul during this time. But keep them coming. The simchas and the commemorations and the graduations, etc. And even if it's not exactly on the day, if it comes a few days later, it doesn't matter. You're helping your shul and you'll get the same mention and commemoration, excitement, whatever it might be on the day that you sponsor. Our sponsor today is Meirav and Danny Pashalis. Tonight, Danny will be observing Yahrzeit for his father, Ernst Pashalis, Yaakov ben Yisachar. And I always remember, because Danny always is in shul, he has the Yahrzeit St. Kaddish on Yom Yerushalayim, which of course is tomorrow. Danny sent me this great picture of his father. And even better is this picture. So Danny, this is Danny right here. Now he said that he was 7 years. Actually, Danny was 7 years old when his father passed away. So he has fond memories, but still not enough. And but Danny was fond of pointing out that this is a time when he had hair. He said it didn't catch up to his father's genes till a few years later. But Danny, may your father's neshama have an aliyah, and we hope that you're safe and sound down in Florida. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention and give tremendous honorable mention to Dr. Celine Pashalis, who is on the front lines as an ER doctor in Miami. And Celine, we are so proud of you. Your parents are proud of you. The Kushner Yeshiva is proud of you, as they published this week, and everything that you do. So we're going to learn today the Mishna in memory of Yaakov ben Yisachar. So we turn to the 16th Mishnah in the 5th chapter of Perek Avos. And I think this is Nogea. I think this is applicable to the Yahrzeit that's being observed. Arba midos b'nosnei tzedakah. There are 4, and this is sort of the mirror image to the Mishnah that we studied yesterday, of the one who said, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, etc. So the Mishnah is applying that principle to people who give tzedakah. Now, we always said that tzedakah is not a natural behavior, it's a learned behavior. It's something that even from a very young age, you have to be trained to take the coin out of your pocket and put it in the pushka when you come to davening in the morning, when you come to shul, or when you're in a house of mourning. So arba midos benosnei tzedakah. There are four types of donors to charity. Harotza shitein v'lo yitnu acherim. One who wishes to give himself, but wants others not to give. Eino ra'ah b'shel acherim. He begrudges others. Yitnu acherim v'hu lo yitein. Eino ra'ah b'shelo. That others should give, but that he shouldn't give, well, then he begrudges himself. Yitein v'yitnu acherim chasid. That he should give and that others should give, he's a chassid, he's pious. Lo yitein v'lo yitnu acherim rasha. That he shouldn't give and that others shouldn't give is wicked. He's a rasha. Now this exactly mirrors the structure of the way the variables are given, as we saw in the previous Mishnah yesterday, with the shali, shalach, shalach, etc. But here we talk about giving tzedakah. Now, there are sometimes those who want to give tzedakah, and they want to be the one, I'm the big honcho. I'm the one who gives, I don't want anybody else to give. There are those that say, no, you let them take care of it. I don't have to do anything. There are those that say, no, why do I have to give? Why should anybody have to give? But then, of course, there are those that not only give, but they also encourage others to give as well. They lead by example. Whether you have a lot, whether you have a little, but if a person gives and gives wholeheartedly, and you give to tzedakah and you support the causes, then you say, you know what, I want to be like that person. And they encourage other people to give along with them. That's also part of the learned behavior. As long as I've known Meirav and Danny, they've always been quite giving. Actually, Daniel's he's having a little bit of withdrawal. I think this is the longest that he's ever gone in the last, I don't know how many years, without being on a plane. He told me that he actually ordered from Amazon, he ordered a plane seat and some plane food so he could just feel at home. He's like that guy in Up in the Air in that movie. But their ability to, and I know this firsthand, to give to others, but also inspire others to give and to get involved. And this is something clearly, Daniel, that trait that you got from your parents. And I'm sure something that even though you didn't have enough years with your father, but that lesson lives on, and something that your father taught you. Yaakov ben Yisachar, his neshama should have an aliyah, taught you and taught your children about what it means to be part of the community, to be a friend, to give to others, and to inspire others to be tzedakahniks, to say that, you know what, it's not just me who has to have my name on the plaque. It's not just about me. It's not that, oh, let the other guy take care of it. It says, I'm going to get involved, and I'm going to inspire others to get involved as well. So during this time, and we're going to be talking about shul fundraising soon enough, as you will hear, because we would normally have our shul barbecue, which is our biggest fundraiser of the year. So we're going to have to alter our plans a little bit. But I'm sure that when the time comes and you'll be asked, and those who are able to, they're going to give, and you're also going to inspire others to give, much like Meirav and Danny do on a regular basis. So thank you again for the sponsorship. Thank you for all that you do. And may your father's neshama, Ernst Pashalis, Yaakov ben Yisachar, may have an aliyah, and we should all have only simchas to celebrate. Have a wonderful day.